So it's next week, and I know that you tuned in to watch this cliffhanger just to see what this grilled cheese sandwich tastes like. I bet you've been waiting with bated breath for 7 whole days. Let's see. Charcoal.
Well, it looks like you waited a whole week to take the bite.
It's actually quite tasty, love, thank you. So many bites to enjoy.
Keep it up and the next one will be burnt.
I see that yours isn't burnt though.
This is yours.
Oh, is that my next one?
Yeah, I'm doing yours first.
Oh, I could do 2 cliffhangers. Tune in to next week's episode to see what the second sandwich is like.
We better keep an eye on it.
Yeah, you don't want to burn that one. And maybe the cheese will be melted in that one too.
I guess you're in charge of grilled cheese from now on.
I always was. So nice.
With me guts full of grilled cheese, it was time to get out of the camper and finally do some photography.
So today's iceberg hunt brings us to a place called Coachmans Cove. Kind of north Newfoundland. Middle of absolutely nowhere. No cell reception, dodgy roads, but absolutely gorgeous. And it's rained solidly for about 4 hours. And we didn't think we were going to get a break, but it's just stopped. So we've immediately come out and, the mist. Let me just show you this. These low-lying clouds. I love that kind of stuff. Reminds me of BC. So we haven't clapped eyes on, oh, there's the iceberg. I was just going to say we haven't clapped eyes on it yet, but there it is. Here we go. So that's the first one. But there's another one way off in the distance, and I think that one might be a bit bigger. See if I can show you this one. Flip it around. So there's the closest, a little bit of something floating there, and then the other one's around that corner. I don't know if I've got the balls to send the drone out just yet, because it might start raining any second.
We might only have 5 minutes.
I do really like the low-lying misty clouds in the background. That'll make a really good background to the drone. I'm getting the drone out.
Icebergs weren't that big and were a little bit worn out, I still couldn't resist capturing this image. Now for all those whingers who don't think that drone photography is legit, relax, I'm just about to get my tripod out.
I kind of want to go and visit those spiky rocks down there and see if I can get a shot. I've got a new toy for my camera. I've got one of those camera umbrellas that you put in the hot shoe so it don't get rained on. So I kind of deliberately want to go shooting in the rain just to see if it works. Are you coming or are you staying in the camper?
Well, you're driving over there.
Yeah, I'll drive over there.
Well, then I guess I'm coming.
Exactly. So I haven't tried this gadget yet. It was just a cheap purchase from Amazon. I'm not even going to mention the brand. There is no link. It's not sponsored. I couldn't care less. It was just a cheap purchase. It might actually save my camera, well, should I say Amanda's Hasselblad during soggy shoots like this. So I'll give it a try. We shall see. But the light is actually looking quite gorgeous right now. You know when you get a soggy rainy day and then it stops raining and then you get that beautiful atmosphere in the air. I mean, look at all this low-lying cloud in the distance. Look at it over here. Oh, I love all that business. And of course, you know, there's a chance for rainbows. Not very likely, but there's a chance. And I found these sort of spiky rocks just down on the beach. Might be nice with a slightly long exposure. There's no waves, so it'll be a pretty sedate looking, almost minimalist shot.
I don't know why, but I just can't resist me some spiky rocks.
So I like these spiky rocks here but I did see some others a little bit further down the road, smaller, but a bit more pointy. And you know me, I like pointy stuff. So I'm gonna try those first, and then this will be my second choice, I think.
Ooh, looks like a shark's fin does that. And is that a rainbow that I can see?
You remember just a few seconds ago when I said there wasn't much chance of getting rainbows? Well, I got a rainbow right in the perfect spot for this composition.
Confess that this composition is a little bit rushed because I just didn't know how long that rainbow would last. Ideally, I would have had a bit more time.
But let me just get a little bit closer and show you what's going on with these rocks. I mean, look at this. This is just so weird. Look at these textures. It's almost like splintered wood. That's, you know, that's hard, but it crumbles. It's like rotten slate or something. Really rotten slate. Oh, look at that. The rainbow's coming back a bit higher in the sky. Right, I better get back to shooting.
Ah, that's better. I was definitely happier with this simpler, more symmetrical composition.
Alright, so the light's gone a bit crap now. I've got a bit of time to play with my new gadget, so let's have a look. This is my little cheap Amazon purchase. Comes in a baggy little brolly. And that's a little hot shoe mount. Well, hot shoe plug, I guess. With a tiny little ball head on it, so you can angle it. So let's stick it on and see how it works.
So you just slide it into the hot shoe, tighten it up a little bit, and then open up the brolly, and hey presto, you too could look like a complete knobhead.
Whoa, look at that. Now that is some high-tech gorgeousness. Loosen off that, and then angle the dangle, depending on which way the wind's blowing. I think I'll just go with that. It's difficult to do this one-handed, a bit clumsy. That'll do. I mean, if there was ever a rig that looked really professional, I think that's it. A Hasselblad X2D with a $13 umbrella on the top. Absolutely bloody brilliant, that. That is Bobby Dazzler.
For more useless tips like this, be sure to subscribe or check out my Patreon page for exclusive content.
Have a look at that. Look at that beautiful beam of light blasting over the top of that. Come on, just make it into here. That's all I ask. I'll have a bit of that gorgeousness over here. This is a recurrent theme in my videos, isn't it? Point my camera in the opposite direction to the spectacular light. Oh, no, look, it's happening. It's hitting this little island here. So I better get ready and stop blabbing. This beach is an absolute gold mine. I'm really excited about finding this spot. To be honest, more excited than I was about the 10,000-year-old iceberg. I think the thing with the iceberg is, it's brilliant and all that, but 4 or 5 days ago, I think it was a lot more interesting to look at. It's obviously been ravaged by the sea and the rain quite a bit, so it's not quite the structure that it was. Still gorgeous, but I'm spoiled now. You know, I'm spoiled. I've seen some really epic icebergs, and now I'm a spoiled brat. Anyway, I found a composition that I really like, and I have a feeling, let's turn this round, I have a feeling that these clouds that you can see up here are going to catch some light from the sun setting way over there. You can just see a suggestion of it in these clouds here. So whatever happens there can sometimes, not always, but quite often happen way off in the opposite direction. And that's what I'm hoping for with this shot. Anyway, I'll show you the back of the camera and explain my thinking. All right, so surprise of all surprises, I've gone for the X-Pan 65-24 composition. And really, it's all about these pinnacles. So what I like about this shot is you don't know that that thing is only 8 feet tall. When you look at it in this composition, that could be 60 feet tall. We just don't know, do we? And that's what I like about places like this. You can play with it a little bit and suggest that it's a lot bigger and more impressive than it actually is. But to me, it's still impressive, even though it's actually quite small. So what I've got is this peak slap bang in the center of the frame, and what I've tried to do is arrange it, well, place the camera so that this sits in its own little bit of space, and then the second biggest spike is over here. And I don't know if you can see it in this small screen, but basically I'll just push this up here. There's a tiny bit of space above that pinnacle, between that pinnacle and that little island there. So what I didn't want is the pinnacle touching the island. So I've managed to get just a little bit of space there from that pinnacle and that island, just to separate the two. So I've tried to keep everything in its place, and I'm just waiting now for something to happen in the sky. Now, I've gone for this 65-24 X-Pan because I'm just addicted, let's be quite honest. But if that doesn't work, or let's just say something erupts in the sky above where my composition ends, then I'm just going to change the aspect ratio to the standard and fill the frame with whatever's going on. And if that happens, I might also get a little bit closer to this rock formation just to make it even bigger in the frame. We shall see, but I really like that composition. I just need a bit of light and maybe a bit of wave action. Now, I'm quite excited about the idea of potentially shooting a sunrise here tomorrow morning, but the forecast is calling for fog. But in my experience, in my 2.5 weeks in Newfoundland, the forecast doesn't mean anything. In fact, this was supposed to be pouring rain all day. So for the last, I'd say 45 minutes, I've had pretty good light. So I'm going to risk it in the morning. I'm going to get up at stupid o'clock and come right back here and hopefully get a sunrise shot, because can you imagine? That's probably east, so the composition will be looking northeast, but can you imagine some lovely side light on that? And who knows what the tide's doing? Maybe the tide's going to be lapping up against these rocks. Oh man, that would be an absolute belter of a shot. But for now, I'm not finished shooting the sunset. Some nice texture and colour kicking off over there. I'm just going to sit tight and just keep shooting this shot until there's nothing left to shoot.
Only the waves had come in and wrapped around those pointy pinnacles.
So I think I got a shot today. I won't know until I get back home and check it out. But I'm definitely going to get up at stupid o'clock and stagger back out here for sunrise. You going to be up for that, love? Sunrise at 4 a.m?
4?
Well, that's what time we'd have to get up.
Why so early?
Well, you got to have coffee and some breakfast and a plop and all that business.
We'll see. Depends on how late you keep me up.
Doing what?
I don't know, tooting?
Now that is a given, let's be honest. Well, that was enjoyable.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, so what's for dinner, love?
I made you saltfish and pork scratchings.
Salt cod.
Yeah.
When you say pork scratchings, you mean scrunchions?
Scrunchions. Pork scrunchions.
One of the best things that we've found here in Newfoundland is scrunchions. If you get something on a menu and it says scrunchions, get it and ask for extra scrunchions.
It was time to gobble down dinner and get to bed, because I had an appointment with misery and exhaustion at 4 a.m. and before I knew it, it was 4 a.m.
Well, it's 4:45 a.m. I've had 4 hours of sleep and I do have a face like a chafed nipple. But I'm not going to let that bother me, because I've managed to get myself out of bed plenty early for this sunrise. Well, I say that, I don't think there's going to be much of a sunrise, because it is Graysville once again. At least it's not raining though. But I'm going to stagger down to that beach I was at last night for sunset, in the vain hopes of getting something interesting. The tide looks like it's in a little bit more. Have a look at this. I'm not sure if that's enough for it to be doing much to my lovely rocks, but we'll see. This is the thing with sunrise photography. You know, it's a massive gamble, and what you're gambling with is your sleep, which is essential to your health. But I can always go back to bed afterwards if I don't get anything. So I'll catch up some way somehow.
Now, I've heard that medically speaking, there's no such thing as catching up on sleep, but these are the lies I choose to tell myself.
Well, I've made it back down to my cute little beach, and to be honest, it's as if I've travelled back in time 8 hours. Nothing has changed. It's the exact same. The tide's the same, the water action's the same, pretty much non-existent, and the light's almost the same. And look at that, it's as if I just stayed here and didn't go to bed at all. So that's a bit depressing, but you know, I'm going to stick around because there's a chance. It is very, very slim. But I can just see a slight gap on the horizon. Perhaps not exactly east, though. I think that is east. But I will stick around just on the very weak off chance that something lights up. I'm here now anyway, but I'm actually quite warm for the first time in 2 weeks. So I'm just going to pull up a rock and just sit and enjoy the tranquility. I had a quick look at the iceberg this morning and it was definitely looking a bit worse for wear. They're fragile, these structures, these sculptures out in the ocean. But I'm just wondering if we go further up the coast, maybe we'll find some others. And there's a website called Iceberg Finder, and you can go on there and see where the icebergs currently are. I think there's about 102 or something like that right now. And some people post their pictures, but the problem is, if you're looking at a picture that's 5 days old, there's probably no point going because you might just show up to an ice cube. But if you're looking at something that's like maybe 24 hours, then you've got a chance of it still being relatively intact when you get there. But of course, where we are, there's absolutely zero cell coverage, of course. So I can't check any of that business. So we'll have to go into a town and then just get online and check and maybe go iceberg chasing a bit further up the coast. I know that there's another one on the other side of this peninsula in a place called Seal Cove, but that's one of those that's been there for a while, and I think it will just be a little nugget by the time we get there. So we'll see. Maybe I'll check today and there'll be 50 new icebergs close to you. Actually, I bet they're all back in Twillingate and Bonavista, which I've spent a week at, and I'm not going back. I'm staying on the west coast. So hopefully we get a few more where I already am. Look at this rock here. This kind of reminds me of the stuff that we get over in Nova Scotia. It's kind of like where we have these gypsum cliffs. It turns into this colour and kind of almost feels the same too, but that's all the same there. It's all like huge giant piles of it, whereas this is stuck inside of this slate looking rock. So if you know what that is and what causes that, post a comment and let me know. I'd be interested to find out why that happens. It's really quite beautiful.
This sunrise was turning into a complete non-event, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I should have stayed in bed.
Alright, well it's 5:15 now and the sun is officially up somewhere. I can't see it. I can't see any colour or texture in the sky, so I don't think that this is going to work out. I think this is another bust. It's another failure, which again is a success according to you guys. Yeah, it's good content. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time for me to pack up my sad bag of tricks and go back to the camper. Empty-handed once again. Now, I've been told in person by some of my subscribers that they're getting really sick of YouTube landscape photographers philosophizing in their videos. It's really annoying. So here's some Tinpot philosophy of my own, for what it's worth. A lot of people do feel like landscape photography is a bit of a lonely pursuit. They don't like going out on their own, and they don't like all that solitude. But let me give you a word of advice, and that is that the older you get, the more precious those moments of quiet solitude become. Embrace it. I love it. I just love going out on my own, especially for sunrise, and just experiencing nature in complete quiet, just the sounds of creatures, and that's about it. Sounds of the waves. I absolutely love it. And for those of you that sort of struggle with that, you feel lonely, trust me, there will come a point in your life where you absolutely cherish these moments of solitude and quiet. It's almost like meditation. So lean into it, embrace it, because you might not have it when you need it the most. Anyway, that's my Tinpot philosophising for the day. I'm off to go and get breakfast.
Join us in next week's episode, where we finally find some monster icebergs in the very north of Newfoundland. Now, did I mention you can get your very own signed copy of my new book, Stories Within Stories by Gavin Hardcastle? No? Oh, well, there is a link in the description below. Oh, and look at all these absolute legends. Thanks for all your support so that I can keep making this content. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.